Welcome friends. Today we are going to discuss a question paper with regard to recruitment of banking professionals. So let us proceed. If you see, the first section talks about, or the first section is all about answering the questions in the first section, that is questions number 36 through 45. The first section talks about answering questions which are based on a given passage, Now the passage is given to you, so you need not worry. What you need to do, friends, is that you need to focus and read slowly. Go through the entire passage very slowly for the first time, and then go for a faster reading for the second time, in order to grab the minutes or the details of the passage really well. So let us start off. As you can see, the passage is given to you here. So let us start off. The long-term trend of an increasing share. Now, alright, so here if you see, it says the long-term trend of an increasing. Now I'll be explaining to you not line by line, I'll be explaining to you the passage not line by line, but rather paragraph wise. So I would read an entire paragraph for you, and I would rather expect all of you to concentrate while I go through the passage paragraph wise, and try to understand what the author wants to say. So let us start. The long-term trend of an increasing share of service sector, FDI, has now, FDI stands for foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment is actually a process through which an industry can go international. So foreign direct investment is a way. So let us start again. The long-term trend of an increasing share of service sector FDI has accelerated over the last 20 years. Nevertheless, the empirical research on FDI is still concentrated on manufacturing. As the basic characteristics of services and goods differ, the main specifics of services are intangibility, inseparability of production and consumption, heterogeneity, perishability, and restricted ownership. And restricted ownership. Now here, after ownership, there should be a comma. One would expect that the determinants, this word determinants, it also means factors. It also means factors. Factors means the reasons. Factors means the reasons. The factors means the things which are responsible for, in fact. That the determinants of internationalization are not the same in the two sectors. This may hold true, although the separation line between goods and services has become quite blurred, reflecting the growing service content of manufacturing and a certain tendency towards the industrialization of parts of service sector. Against this background, it is surprising that firm-level econometric research dealing with the internationalization of service firms by way of FDI is scarce. Particularly, only few studies cover the whole service sector, and there is hardly any empirical work investigating systematically the differences between manufacturing and services. Now, dear friends, as far as this first paragraph is concerned, from here through here. Now, this first paragraph talks about, it primarily talks about the service industry in particular. Why has the service industry gained so much of prominence over the years? And at the same time, it also talks about that as far as the internationalization process is concerned, the internationalization process for the services sector and for the manufacturing sector is brought about with the help of FDI. FDI, as I have told you, means for foreign direct investment. But they also say, the author wants to point out here, that although there is much growth witnessed in the services sector, yet as far as the studies are concerned with regards to the internationalization process of the manufacturing and service sectors, the studies or the research work is rather very scarce, and particularly they have and whatever work that has been done, that has mainly been done with regards to the internationalization process, it has been mainly done with regard to the manufacturing sector only. So this is what the first paragraph talks about. Let us move ahead. Now I would rather place a comma here, which I have placed earlier. Give me a moment. After ownership. Let me place it more accurately. After ownership. So, this is what the first paragraph talks about. Now, the author goes on saying the analysis of the internationalization of services companies is dominated until now by studies for specific industries. To mention are in particular financial services, ICT software, the hotel industry, business services and retail trade. The majority of contributions are case studies or small sample descriptive analysis focusing on one or very few service industries. Econometric studies dealing at firm level with specific services industries became available, with some exceptions, only in recent years. The concentration on industry specific studies may be due to the absence of large scale data sets covering the whole service sector, as is already pointed out in some earlier review articles. Another reason may be the presumption that the service sector is particularly heterogeneous, as advocated, for example, by Dunning, who argues that type and combination are integral to the service sector. Now, dear friends, as far as the second paragraph is concerned, the second paragraph from which starts from here and it goes on till this, it goes on till here. So now the second paragraph talks about service industry again. The author talks about that whatever research work has been done with regard to the internationalization process of the services sector has been mainly industry specific. Industries, there are various industries. Actually, I would like to let you know that in a sector, for example, the services sector, there are various industries. Now they have named a few industries here. For example, they have mentioned the financial industry, the ICT software industry, the hotel industry, the business services industry, the retail trade. Now these all are industries that fall under the category of the services sector. Similarly, in the manufacturing sector, we have many industries as well. Now here in the second paragraph, the author wants to talk about the studies or the research work that had been conducted by researchers, and whatever work or research work that had been accomplished that only focuses upon only certain industries. So this means they haven't taken the entire industry into picture. The entire sector into picture, that is the service sector. So this is what the second paragraph talks about. Let us move ahead. Now here the author, dear students, I would like to actually let you know that as far as this passage is concerned, this is moreover like a research work published by the author. Now the author, he has come up with his own ideas, and he has actually mentioned his ideas in a form of a research work on a research paper which is before you. So this paper is very important. This extract, the research which is in the form of an extract here, is very, very important. So kindly pay attention. So let us move ahead now. The present study contributes to filling this research gap. Now the present study here implies the research work that has been done or that had been conducted, that had been accomplished by the author of the passage. Now contributes to filling this research gap by identifying and comparing for the two sectors. Now what research gap is the author talking about? The research gap that the author is talking about is with regards to industry specific research work or the sectoral, that is sector specific research work. Whatever research work that had been done until now is with regards to industries as such. As far as the sectoral work is concerned or the sector wise work is concerned, that has not been done. That has not been done until now. Now the author, he has come up with two models, model A and model B here, which are very important. He says that the drivers of the international that the drivers, now the drivers again means now this word drivers, this means factors again, it means factors. Now the drivers, again the determinants here, determinants which we have already come across, this word as well means factors. So the drivers or the factors, that the things which are responsible for the internationalization of firm activity is in terms of exports and FDI. So the author has come up with a model 1, that the drivers or the factors which are responsible for the internationalization of firms, or rather the firm activities, are two. One is the exporting power, that's the export, and the second one is foreign direct investment. Now, as far as the second model is concerned, the author talks about the second model. With regard to the second model, he has discussed the first model already. The second model, the author says determinants. Now, determinants is a synonym, एक पर्यायवाची है drivers का. Drivers means factors. So, the determinants or the factors of the choice among specific forms of FDI in terms of business functions. Now, the author wants to say here that what kind of foreign direct investment should take place. It entirely depends upon the kind of business that we are taking into account. Now, it can be a business related to the service industry, so to the service sector, or it can be related to the production or the manufacturing sector. So, let us move ahead. This is what the author wants to say. Let us move ahead. As mentioned, there is little evidence from econometric studies with respect to the first topic, and the second one, to the best of our knowledge, has never been investigated at all. Well, in order to analyze these problems, we formulate two empirical models. Now, these empirical models are these two models which the author has proposed. Two empirical models using the well-known OLI paradigm as theoretical framework. Now, here the author in this paragraph wants to say that whatever work or whatever whatever work that has been done with regard to the two sectors, that is the manufacturing and the service sectors, the econometric work, there is only little econometric work. Econometric is actually econometric research, or for that matter, econometric research is moreover like an economic analysis. It is moreover like a statistical analysis using mathematics. So econometric work is very scarce, which is available. And as far as the econometric work with regard to the first model which the author has proposed here, that is rather very rare. Whatever we have with regard to mathematics or with regard to statistical modeling or mathematical modeling, that is very rare. As far as the first model is concerned, or statistical modeling, I'll be rather very precise here. And as far as the second model is concerned, the determinants or the factors of the choice among specific forms of FDI in terms of business functions, well, of course, no econometric work is available with us as far as the current research work is done. Let us move ahead. Now, the present analysis. Again, the present analysis would mean the analysis which is accomplished, or the research work which is actually accomplished by the author of this passage, or the research work. So, dear children, I would like to remind you here again that again you are dealing with a research paper here. So, you need to be vigilant enough. You need to concentrate a lot. Otherwise, you'll be able to make or you'll be able to actually understand, you'll not be able to understand the passage you'll not be able to understand the passage, that's it. All right, good. So all right, dear children, so let us proceed. So as far as the present analysis, that is the present research work is concerned, it is an extension of Hollenstein. Now Hollenstein, whatever work was done by a research worker by the name Hollenstein, this present work which is actually accomplished by the author, it is just an extension of the work that had been done by Hollenstein. Now Hollenstein, what he did, that he estimated using data for 1998 OLI based models that are structurally similar to models 1 and 2. These are the models, model 1 and model 2. Now Hollenstein proposed two models which were very as far as the structure wise, they were very similar to models 1 and 2, which the author has proposed here, but did so only for the entire business sector. Now this means that Hollenstein, he never took into account the bifurcation, or he never actually segregated, यानी divide नहीं किया business sector को in two, that is the manufacturing sector and the services sector. He took the entire business sector at one go. Now this was a drawback. This was a drawback as far as the work accomplished by Hollenstein is concerned. Now the present research also goes beyond who disaggregated the business sector in manufacturing and services. Now the present research work which has been accomplished is actually whatever work that has been done, the present research work, it has taken a step beyond, and it has bifurcated or segregated or divided the entire business sector into two, that is the manufacturing and services, and estimated a model comparable and estimated, give me a moment. So, and estimated a model comparable to our model 1. Our model would mean the model which is proposed by the research worker or the author of the passage of the research work. Our model 1, which distinguishes between exporting only and direct foreign presence. Okay, which distinguishes between exporting and direct foreign presence. However, this author did not further differentiate within the category of firms with FDI as we do in Model 2. Okay, as we do in Model 2. So, the work that was already achieved by a Hollenstein took into account the firms, or rather it never actually further differentiated the firms with FDI as we have with regard to the business functions, that is the kind of business that they are in. So the paper is based, now this research paper is based on a large data set containing information from 1921 companies of the Swiss business sector that responded to a comprehensive survey we conducted in 2010 among a random sample drawn from the official enterprise census of 2008. Now what is census? Census means Jangarna, but here the author is being very particular when he says official enterprise census. That is, official enterprise census would mean at an enterprise level, or for that matter at the company level. Now whatever work that is accomplished by the author here, author of this passage or this research work, that work is based on the census, or rather the sample, the random sample that was drawn from the census, and the sample belonged to the Swiss business sector, that is to the Switzerland business sector. By estimating Model 1 and 2, we are able to significantly add to previous evidence on differences between manufacturing and services companies with respect to the determinants of international activities, a topic strongly neglected in empirical research. In line with our hypothesis, we find for both sectors that an OLI based model is well suited not only for explaining the propensity of firms to go international by means of exports and or FDI, Model 1, but also differences between specific forms of FDI in terms of business functions, Model 2. In all models, the explanatory power of the OLI approach is stronger for manufacturing than for services. The results for manufacturing are in line with the stages view of internationalization, with what is only partly the case for the services sector. Now here what the author wants to say is that whatever work that the author has accomplished with regards to the internationalization process, of the business sector, which is further divided into two: manufacturing and the services sector. That work was mainly done. Work was mainly based on the OLI paradigm. The OLI paradigm. Now, OLI paradigm means a model as the theoretical framework. Now, this is a theoretical framework, that is a theory. OLI is a theory. OLI is a theory which was proposed by Dunning. Now, in the early 1970s, which we are going to look further. So, whatever basis this theory, the OLI theory, the author has developed two models, model 1 and model 2, as we have already discussed, and he is able to actually make the most. He's able to actually reason out, base his reasons for the internationalization process of the services and the manufacturing sector. And he says that in all the models, the explanatory power of the OLI approach is stronger for manufacturing than for services. Now, this says that the OLI model, that is the OLI model or the OLI theory, is appropriate. Not appropriate, rather it is far more better suitable in actually explaining the manufacturing sector, whatever is happening, the internationalization process which is taking place in the manufacturing domain or the sector, which is partly the case for the services sector, but rather it is not able to account for, or for that matter able to explain with greater rigor the same process with regard, that is the process of internationalization with regards to the services sector. यानी कि सर्विसेज सेक्टर से रिलेटेड ये प्रोसेस, ये जो थियोरी है, जो OLI थियोरी है, ये OLI थियोरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट को तो अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन कर पा रही है, या उनमें जो इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन प्रोसेस है उसको अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन कर पा रही है, मगर जो सर्विसेज सेक्टर है उसको इतने अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पा रही है, कहीं एक्सप्लेन उसको भी कर पा रही है मगर इतने अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पा रही है. सो दिस इज व्हाट द ऑथर वांट्स टू से. लेट अस मूव अहेड नाउ. एज अर्ली एज in the 1970s, now where were we? Give me a moment. Now, as early as in the 1970s, Dunning argued that no single approach is able to explain a firm's international activities. He proposed an eclectic theory of international production, the well-known OLI paradigm, which he further developed over the years to account for theoretical approaches. In the most recent version, the OLI model applies not only to international production, but also the other business functions. In addition, it emphasizes the strategic aspects of internationalization more explicitly to other business functions. In addition, it emphasizes, I'm so sorry, I lost touch. So in addition, it emphasizes the strategic aspects of internationalization more explicitly by drawing on the resource based or the dynamic capability view of the firm, or the concept of the knowledge based company. Now here, in the last paragraph, the author wants to point out that whatever work that was the monumental work, जो इतना important work था in terms of proposing a theory, the theory is OLI theory. ये जो OLI theory है, इसको जो डनिंग ने propose किया था, this theory is so important that it can actually help us investigate the internationalization process, which is prevalent in either the manufacturing sector, or for that matter the services sector or the domain as such. Students, I would like to point out here that the internationalization process is brought about with the help of foreign direct investment, FDI. So this was this is the passage all about. I would like to reiterate the point here that it is a research work. This is not only a passage, but it is moreover like a research paper which is published by the author of the passage, and he himself bases this theory, has come up with his own models. These two models which we have discussed, A and B, which I have discussed here. A and B, the drivers of the internationalization of firm activity in terms of exports and FDI, and model B, the determinants or the factors of the choice among specific forms of FDI in terms of business functions. Now he has come up with these two models to actually explain the phenomenon of internationalization with regard to the business sector or with regard to the business domain. Alright, so I would rather advise you to, I have understood the passage, so I would rather advise you to go through the passage once again, but at a faster pace, so that you can actually grasp the minutes or the details of the research work, or rather the passage as such in question, and you will be able to answer the questions rather really well. So let us move ahead with the questions now, that is questions 36 through 45. Now, I would rather say that as far as this section is concerned, which talks about answering questions basis a specific paragraph, or not a paragraph, rather a passage, I would rather advise you to actually attempt questions that actually ask you questions that are more or less focused on synonyms and antonyms. I would rather advise you, or for that matter homonyms, if they come up with a question like that. Because why is it so? Because actually, at least if you are not able to understand the passage really well, it doesn't matter, it is fine, it is okay. But why I'm saying so? Because it might be possible that you might run out of time. So in that case, at least you may answer the questions which involve asking you questions with regard to synonyms, or for that matter antonyms. So here there is what the question number 36 talks about the same. Choose the word which is opposite in meaning to the word given in bold as used in the passage. Empirical. Now empirical is used here. Now you have to choose an antonym or the opposite of this word. Now if you look at the options here, I have already marked the correct answer, conjectural, but empirical means fundamental, or rather basic. It means basic or fundamental. So the opposite of basic or fundamental work is cannot be observational, of course, that because whatever we observe, we can actually derive something out of it, derive some knowledge out of the observations. Acumen means expertise, of course, that this is also not the answer. Even these two are not the answers. Employable, of course, this is not the answer of empirical. The opposite of basic is not employable. And then experiential, that is basis experience, is also not true. Conjectural means the opposite of basic empirical work, or the basic work, is conjectural. That is, we haven't achieved something, but we are doing pure guesswork. So conjectural means guesswork. So this is the answer. Let us move ahead. Question number 37. According to the author, when did econometric studies become available? Now, as we know that this is a research paper, and there isn't enough of evidence with regard to the econometric work, or with regard to statistical modeling, or with regard to statistics as such. So very less work was done. But if you go through the passage, I have underlined here in recent years. So whatever work that has been done with whatever work that which has been done with regard to the internationalization process with the help of econometric studies, it has been done only in the recent past. So this is the answer. because here it says in recent years, and the very close option is in the recent past, not in the first decade. Decade means 10 years. Decade means 10 years. So not in the first decade of this century, not in the recent past, of course in the recent past, I'm sorry, not in the 1980s, not in the 1990s, not in the early years of this century, but only in the recent past. So option B is the correct option. Let us move ahead. Question number 38. Choose the word which is most similar. Now this question is with regards to synonyms. Now choose the word which is most similar in meaning to the word given in bold as used in the passage. Okay. So the synonym of this word paradigm means a model. This word paradigm, it means a model. So the most suitable word is archetype, because archetype also means a model. So Catholic is a denomination within the Christian community. It's a denomination within the Christian community. So this is not the answer. Universal is again not an appropriate synonym of paradigm. Universal is not an appropriate synonym. Diverse is also not an appropriate synonym, and liberal means free. Liberal means free. This is also not an appropriate synonym. Diverse means different. Diverse means different. So the answer is option A, archetype. Question number 39. What did Dunning propose in the 1970s? Now here, if you in the last paragraph, he actually proposed a theory. Which theory? OLI theory. Okay. Now this OLI theory, it actually talks about the internationalization process of both the manufacturing and the services sector. So the manufacturing and the services sector, because the services sector is heterogeneous, because it is mentioned here that as far as the services sector is concerned, it is heterogeneous in nature. So the model which was proposed by Dunning, that is a model or the theory, OLI theory, it is rather heterogeneous in nature. As far as the manufacturing sector is concerned, it is homogeneous, but with regards to the services sector, it is heterogeneous. So if you look at these theory, he proposed the theory in the early 1970s of international production. So a heterogeneous theory was proposed, because the services sector is also taken into account along with the manufacturing sector. So the option is already marked for you, which is option C. Heterogeneous शब्द का मतलब होता है मिला जुला, homogeneous का मतलब एक समान. All right, dear children, so let us proceed. Now choose the word which is most similar. Now again, this is again a scoring question for all of you, because it talks about synonyms here. They are asking you the synonym for the word eclectic. Now eclectic means all in all. It means all in all. So here eclectic theory, this word is, you will find it in the last paragraph, eclectic. Now this word eclectic here means all in all, and which means cross-disciplinary. That is, it is not unilateral. The opposite of eclectic is unilateral, that is, it focuses only on one point. Bilateral means it focuses on two segments, on two aspects. Multilateral means it focuses on multiple aspects, and multilateral is a synonym for eclectic, which means all in all. So which also means cross-disciplinary. So here the correct answer is cross-disciplinary. The other options are in no way close to eclectic with regard to or rather as far as the synonym of eclectic is concerned. Let us proceed ahead. Question number 41. According to the author, what dominates the examination of internationalization of service companies. Now, as we know, whatever work had been done, that work was done considering only specific industries which fall under the category of the services sector. Only specific industries, not all the industries. They have named a few industries as well earlier, as you can recollect. This was in these industries were mentioned under paragraph 2. For example, the financial services, ICT. ICT means information and communication technology or software, the hotel industry, business services and retail services. So only basis these industries, and these industries do not exactly constitute the entire services sector. They only form a part of it. They are a subset of the superset, which is the services sector. Okay, so the answer is of course E, studies for specific industries. The other options, we never come across any of these industry in particular, or the author hasn't mentioned the same in his research paper. Any of the industries which are mentioned from option A through option D. So option E is the correct answer. So let us proceed further. Question 42, again a scoring question for you, an antonym or the opposite of the word theoretical. Theoretical means something which is only theoretical, as you might have studied that in science. In science we have theory and then we have practicals. In practicals we conduct experiments. So the opposite of theory or the opposite of theoretical is experimental. So of course the first option is correct, and the other options like philosophical, terrestrial. This word terrestrial means related to Earth. Terrestrial means related to the planet. Metaphysical is very spiritual. Abstract means theoretical again. So it is rather a synonym of theoretical, not an antonym, but they have asked an antonym, that is the opposite. So the correct answer is experimental. So let us proceed, dear friends. Now question number 43, what is the tone of the author in the passage? If you actually see the tone of the author, because I have told you it's a research paper and the research paper is generally detailed, so it is the correct option is marked for you. So the answer is detailed. All right, but I would like to let you know that as far as the first option is concerned, the first option is not the right option. Discursive means moving from one point to the other, and in research work, researchers never move from one point to the other. They stick to a point. They stick to their area of investigation or to their area of research. They never move from point to point. So discursive is of course not an option. Wondering is of course not an option again. Diffusive is of course not an option. Diffusive means something which is diffusive, or which is rather very superficial, and meandering is of course very puzzling. So none of these options are correct. Only option D is the correct option, which is detailed, because it's a research paper. Question number 44, according to the author, empirical research on FDI is focused on what? Now empirical research on FDI, now whatever work that has been done with regard to FDI, and FDI is closely related to the internationalization process. So as far as whatever work that had been done, the empirical research that had been done, as it is pointed out in the first paragraph, if you go through the first paragraph carefully, it had been done only with regard to, it had mainly focused on the manufacturing sector. As far as equities is of course comes under the services sector, so this is not the option. Agriculture is again not the option, because they are asking about the sector, empirical research on FDI. So foreign exchange is again not the option. None of the is not the option, because manufacturing is the domain or the sector with which the empirical research had been carried out. Give me a moment. This is sector. Sector means the field or the domain. Sector. So let us proceed ahead. Question number 45. Now again a very I'm getting very excited because had I been attempting this question in the examination, I would have of course gone I would have gone for answering the synonyms, or for that matter the questions based on antonyms. So this is again an opportunity for you to score 10%. If you see, choose the word which is most similar, again a synonym. They have asked you for propensity. If you actually go through this word propensity, which occurs in the second last paragraph, this word propensity here means very quickly, because nowadays this process, we are living in an era of globalization, so this process is very fast. So it is now any of these options which are mentioned, like indignation is of course a negative word. Proclivity is of course something related to some desires, human desires, so this is again not an option. Expository is not an option, because expository is more of a a critical work. Discrete is of course not an option, and cursory means very quickly. Of course this is very close to propensity. That is in a very quick manner the firms, be it firms related to the service sector or related to the manufacturing sector. As far as both these sectors are concerned, the industries which are based out of these two individual sectors, they are quickly moving towards or going for the internationalization by means of FDI, or for that matter by means of exports and FDI. So as far as the internationalization process is concerned, I would like to point out here that I have told you one way is FDI and the other way is exports as well. Alright, so I would like to correct myself here. Exports and FDI, both are responsible, both bring about the internationalization. Let us move ahead. Now, so we are done with this section. Now we are going to proceed to the next section, which is jumbled sentences. Now, as far as this section is concerned, on jumbled sentences, I would like to state to you here that jumbled sentences are asked by the examination board in order to test not only your linguistic competency, that is how well or how good you are in the language. Here of course it is English language where we are talking about. We are talking here the language the language in question is English. The language in question is English. So the board wants to test you not only your understanding of the English language, but also they would like to test you on, this is plus, they would also like to test you on your logical thinking. That is how logical you are. Now what is logical? Logical means reasoning, your reasoning power. They would like to test you on your reasoning power. Now reasoning, what I mean by reasoning here is that as far as these sentences are concerned, A through F, these sentences will test you on both of them, your English and your reasoning ability. Your English, your understanding of English as a language, and your reasoning ability. So if you, and the words are very simple here. What you need to do is you need to go through all these options one by one at a time, and thereafter try to reason out that where should once you start ordering these jumbled sentences, you should immediately remind yourself that what should be the exact or the accurate starting point of the or rather let me put it in these words, what should be the starting point of the paragraph? once you have ordered. Now this will entirely depend on your English, so in order to improve that, as far as understanding your level of understanding of English is concerned, you should actually go through newspapers. I would rather advise you to go through the Times of India in the initial phase, and thereafter proceed ahead with the Hindu. And at the same time, as far as reasoning is concerned, of course, reasoning can come eventually when you practice as many questions with regard to reasoning. Alright, so let us move ahead. Let us go through these options one by one. Assuming option A, assuming that all these reasons are true, the fact remains that there is an urgent need to check the accelerated costs and initiate suitable measures. Now, of course, so this is very clear. So they are talking about all these reasons. So immediately you get an idea that some reasons they are talking about. So they might have discussed in the other sections these reasons. So let us see. Let us proceed ahead. B, some people attributed to the increasing greediness among the medicos. So at option C, the impact of these measures will be visible only after a considerable passage of time. Option D, healthcare costs have been skyrocketing in our country. Option E, the measures include yoga classes with emphasis on physical and mental exercises and also change in food habits. Option F, certain others feel that it is because of drastic changes in people's lifestyles and eating habits. Now, if you actually, because I've gone through all these options, I immediately got an idea that all these jumbled sentences actually center around one particular problem, the problem of the increasing healthcare costs. So ideally, the passage should start from D, that is, healthcare costs have been skyrocketing in our country, and then the reasons behind the rise in the healthcare costs. For example, the first reason is some people attribute it to the increasing greediness among the medicos. So the next option is B. This is one reason. Then there's another reason that we come across as well in F. Certain others feel. Now in B they have said some people attribute it, and certain others feel that it is because of the drastic changes in people's lifestyles and eating habits. So F. Then once you move ahead, you find that these two reasons were given, and then assuming all these reasons, that is A, assuming the reasons which are stated in B and F, assuming all those reasons, that is in A, the fact remains that there is an urgent need to check the accelerated costs and initial suitable measures. Now the board is trying to tell you that they are also trying to propose a solution in A itself, not only basis the reasoning which has been proposed in B and F. Now what is the solution? The solution is the measures include yoga classes with emphasis on physical and mental exercises and also change in food habits. So this is one. This is the solution, and once the solution is implemented, what will happen? We will have the final outcome. That is, the state of the affairs will be completely different. State of the affairs means the final outcome, or the final outcome would be the final situation would be different. The state of the affairs means situation would be is mentioned in C. The impact of these measures will be visible only after a considerable passage of time. Okay, it will. So the author wants to say here, or the board wishes to state, that the impact of these measures, what measures? Yoga classes with emphasis on physical and mental exercises and change in food habits. So two measures, yoga classes and change in food habits. So this is it. This is the correct order. Now see what I have used here, dear students. I have made use of number 1, my understanding of the language English, and number 2, I have made use of my logical thinking or my reasoning power. And I would rather give you, this is a very good tip that you may also apply to. Try to read as much as you can, be it from the internet or the newspaper, or for that matter a novel of your interest, but good literature I would rather say advise you to go for. And at the same time, develop your reasoning power by attempting as many reasoning exercises based on reasoning as possible. Alright, as far as possible. So this is it. Now questions 46 through 50, as you can see under directions on the top, give me a moment, if you can see here. Alright, so here we are, directions 46 to 50, that is questions. The directions are given to you. You have to just order these jumbled sentences. So I have given you the order. So 46 through 50. Now you'll be able to easily answer 46 through 50 because they are just asking you which is the first statement, which is the second statement, third, fourth, and so on. So this is the answers which are available to you on your screen. You can easily answer them. So let us immediately move ahead to question number 51. Which is sentence correction. Now here students, I would like to emphasize that actually this section talks about sentence correction, and when I say sentence correction, the board clearly specifies they would like to test you on English grammar, on your understanding of English grammar. So well, as you might have gone through certain sessions earlier, perhaps on English grammar, or for that matter during your school days, or while you were in the university or college, basis your understanding of English grammar, you can easily attempt this section. So now as far as English grammar is concerned, they will test you on topics like tenses, on topics like articles, voice, voice, at the same time verbs. Now verbs is a very important topic, and similarly there are many other topics too. So they are going to just test you your knowledge on these topics. So because this is a banking examination, they would expect you to possess decent knowledge of English grammar. All right, so let us proceed ahead. This is a very exciting and very intellectual exercise, so let us proceed ahead. 51. Last week the Adam Smith Institute in London published, of course no error, a research paper entitled Lacademia that documents, that documented, because everything whatever the author is talking about or the board is talking about, the examination board, they are talking to you in past tense. They're talking to you in past tense. So here it should not be documents, it should be instead documented. All right, so this is an error. The alarming extent to which the left has acquired control on the humanities and social science departments. No error. So of course the correct answer is B. All right, so let's proceed ahead. Question number 52. Now cynicism has become so deeply ingrained in the national imagination that it had now again they are making use of present perfect tense here, but immediately they have changed in the very same sentence the tense that it had become, that is they are using past perfect here. Here it is present perfect they have started, so they should continue with present perfect as well. So there is an error, it should be has here, present perfect. So I guess I don't guess, but I'm really sure that B is the correct option, because it should be has. that it had become that it has become so if that it had become nearly impossible for educated Indians to believe that something as basic and non-contentious but at the same time noble as the Swachh Bharat campaign is motivated by a higher ideal. Alright, so of course this is an error. So what is error? The error is in regard to the tense, and which tense should be used? Here here it should be present perfect. Alright, present perfect tense. So that is it. Let us proceed ahead. Question number 53. Now in this sphere of governance, decision making was willfully injected with a large discretionary element to cater to those who had the ability to either bankroll politics or enhance personal fortunes. Of course, the word to is missing here. So this means to cater to those, this means that here is an error. So to cater to those. Alright, now to here is a part of speech. Now you need to decide it for yourself. I'll not disclose it here which part of speech is it. Alright, but of course, as you can read, as you can go through the question, you'll immediately come to realize that yes, of course, one word is missing, and that's why it doesn't make complete sense. So let us proceed ahead now. Now the answer is already given to you. If you go through the Sunday Times, for which I was a stranger. Now a stranger is a person who reports, who works as a reporter, but who is rather not associated with the report with any news agency, or for that matter with a publication house. He works on a freelancing basis. Freelancing means he works independently. He is not associated with any news agency, or for that matter publication house. So if you let us go through the passage, or rather sentence. The Sunday Times, for which I was a stranger, is still remembered with affection and gratitude for the work it did on behalf of those parents whose children were born handicapped because of the thalidomide drug prescribed to the patient. So of course there is no error with regard to tenses or voice, or for that matter otherwise as well. No errors, no syntactical errors. Now here you need because it's no error, so it is E. The answer is E. Now again, this is done for you. As you can see, although nominally the battle involves the far left ISA and nationalist ABVP. Now again, the far left ISA and nationalist ABVP. Now ABVP is an organization, Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. Now this organization, it is not the name of a person, it is an abbreviation, okay, for this organization which is known as ABVP. So the nationalist, it should be the nationalist. So the article "the" is missing there. There has been an inclination to extend the scope of the tremors within the student community of Delhi University and Jawaharlal Nehru University. So of course the article "the" was missing here because the nationalist ABVP, and they have mentioned here the far left ISA. So they are being very particular. This ISA is the only organization unique of its kind. So the article "the" is very much there. Similarly, ABVP is a nationalist organization unique of its kind. So the article "the" is very much in place. So that's why. So it's unique of its kind. All right. So that's all, folks. We are done with this section as well. So as you can actually see, at the end of this section. This section particularly tests you on your knowledge of English grammar. So I would rather say practice as many exercises as you can on English grammar. That would not only improve or rather strengthen your command on the language, but also make sections like these a piece of cake. Piece of cake का मतलब होता है बहुत easy, and it's very easy. Believe me, it's very very easy. So on this note, let us proceed ahead. As far as the next section is concerned, it is a closed test. Now the closed test is particularly, it tests you on particularly on one aspect of English grammar, and which is rather the aspect of the English grammar, which is let me quote it here, give me a moment, which is parts of speech. Now when I say parts of speech, I mean, now speech, by speech I mean anything that I intend to write or speak, or whatever we hear or listen to, or listen, and at the same time read as well. So parts of speech would mean words. Now every word falls under any of the 8 parts of speech. So your knowledge of these 8 parts of speech, along with the tenses and other aspects associated to those parts of speech, is tested upon. So I would rather say that you must read and practice exercises on English grammar as far as possible, because that would actually not only reiteration, I'm repeating myself here, that will actually help you in attempting such questions or the closed test in a very very easy fashion, in a very very easy way. Alright, so let us proceed ahead. Now the best way to actually approach this section on closed test is to go through the entire passage immediately without attempting to fill up the blanks. That way you will come to know the central idea of the passage, and once you come to realize the central idea, you can utilize your knowledge of parts of speech and the associated aspects. For example, as far as verbs are concerned, the associated aspects are tenses, voice, moods. There are plethora. There are so many of them. Plethora means so many of them. So just go through the passage once. I'll go through the passage once with you. We'll get a central idea, and once we get the central idea, we'll start utilizing our knowledge of the parts of speech, or our knowledge of the English grammar with regard to the parts of speech, and start answering the questions. Alright, so let us go ahead. Give me a moment. Okay, so here, the Constitution of Independent India and various laws to meet the constitution obligations have fortified the position of women vis-a-vis the man. But it is on paper only. The myth that more and more women are getting higher education are occupying position of responsibility in all walks of life is falsified by the of dowry deaths and divorce cases filed in the courts. One look at the national dailies will tell the tale of Indian women who a child is bargained for bridal price, or when she grows up serves as a supply of dowry for a husband's family, or who as a widow immolates herself on husband's to be sati. Our study about women's place in Indian society is mainly based on urban, professional and educated Indian women. Deep in a rural heartland of the country, the rapidly changing world has not even touched the of life of a woman. Most men of orthodox families take dash in revealing that their women folk stay in parda, a shield that deprives a woman of the joys of free nature. Well, of course, students, as you can actually make out, friends, that this entire passage actually focuses on the plight or the state, give me a moment, the state of women in our country, which is India. So this is what we have, this is the central idea, the state of women in India. Now once we have got the central idea, it is very clear. Now everything is very clear to us. Now what we have to use is, using this central idea and a knowledge of the parts of speech, which is actually what we have learned as far as the English grammar is concerned. Now everything is very easy. It's very easy. Alright, so let us proceed ahead. Okay, the Constitution of Independent India and various laws enacted to meet the constitutional obligation have fortified the position of women vis-a-vis the man. But it is all on paper. It is all on paper. It is all on paper. Okay. The myth, I guess until here you might have understood what the passage means to convey, the author means to convey. Let us move ahead. The myth means jo sachai na ho. The myth that more and more women are getting higher education and are occupying position of responsibility in all walks of life is falsified by the rise. Yes, क्योंकि by the rise, क्योंकि वो पैसेज ये कहना चाह रहा है कि जो एविडेंस है वो एविडेंस हमको कहाँ से मिला है कि जो एविडेंस है, जो फॉल्सिफाइड एविडेंस है, इनफैक्ट that has come, वो एविडेंस फॉल्सिफाइड एविडेंस नहीं, आई एम सो सॉरी, दैट मीन्स द एविडेंस हमको कहाँ से मिला है, द डाउरी डेथ्स, the number of the rise of the dowry deaths and divorce cases filed in certain courts. Now those courts where such cases are filed, like dowry or divorce, such courts are known as civil courts. Okay, not the criminal courts. So the answer to question number 59 is civil courts, not the social court, not the criminal court, not the company court, not the public court. As far as the company court is concerned, there is no court as a company court or a criminal, or for that matter criminal, social, or for that matter public court. There are only two kinds of courts, either civil or criminal. So these cases related to divorce or dowry, they actually they come under the civil cases. Now one look at the national dailies will tell the dash tale of Indian women. Well, of course, whatever is happening to Indian women is not good. So it must be telling a tale which is rather a painful tale. Okay, which is full of pain. Okay, it can be sordid. It can be sordid as well, which is unpleasant. But this is nothing to. Well, of course, it is unpleasant. But as far as the context here is concerned, it tells the tale of the Indian women, which is rather a very painful tale, which says that a woman who dash a child is bargained for bridal price. Now, the moment they are born, the moment a girl child is born, she is bargained for bridal price, or when she grows up serves as a supplier of dowry. Dowry means dahej for a husband's family, or who as a widow immolates herself on the husband's dash to be sati. अब sati तो आप जानते हो, sati is a practice which is no more in place. Thanks. This is a really good thing. So sati क्या होता था? On the चिता पे, husband की चिता पे, पति की चिता पे. चिता का मतलब क्या होता है? On the husband's pyre. This is I guess on the husband's pyre, husband की चिता पे to be dash sati, to marked as a sati, because जब वो husband in the early days when the women used to be burned on the pyre of their husband, they were termed as satis, or they were marked as sati. Termed and marked are the same words here. All right, termed or marked. Second paragraph. Our study about women's place in Indian society is mainly based on urban, professional and educated Indian women. Deep in the rural heartland of the country, the rapidly changing world has not even touched the dash of life of women. यानी कि ये जो भी हम बातें कर रहे हैं, हम जो विमेन की करंट अच्छी पोजीशन को देखते हैं वो सिर्फ टाउन्स में या सिटीज़ में हम देखते हैं, बट अगर हम गांव में जाएं तो शायद ये जो दौर है, जो चेंज का दौर है, that has not even touched the life of women. So not even touched the life of a woman मतलब क्या हो गया कि तुम छुआ भी नहीं है, यानी कि फ्रिंज, यानी कि उसको छुआ तक नहीं है, हल्का सा भी नहीं छुआ है, फ्रिंज उसको कहते हैं. एज हो नहीं सकता क्योंकि उसका कोई मतलब नहीं होगा किसी एज पर. विमेन द एज ऑफ लाइफ ऑफ अ वुमन नहीं हो सकता, एंड में ये हो सकता. एंड का मतलब तो हो गया मौत हो गई या मतलब कि डेथ हो गई. और प्लेन नहीं हो सकता, प्लेन लाइफ ऑफ अ वुमन नहीं हो सकता, और डीप लाइफ ऑफ अ वुमन भी नहीं हो सकता. तो द करेक्ट ऑप्शन है फ्रिंज, मतलब कि हल्का सा भी छुआ भी नहीं है वुमेन के किसी भी एस्पेक्ट को, लाइफ ऑफ अ वुमन. नेक्स्ट सेंटेंस, लेट अस मूव अहेड. मोस्ट मेन ऑफ ऑर्थोडॉक्स फैमिलीज. ऑर्थोडॉक्स मतलब कि जो कि पुरानी रूढ़िवादी हैं या जो कि पुरानी मान्यताओं को मानते चले आ रहे हैं, वो आदमी या वे आदमी, मोस्ट मेन ऑफ ऑर्थोडॉक्स फैमिलीज, जो कि उन ऑर्थोडॉक्स फैमिलीज को बिलोंग करते हैं, वे मेन टेक डैश इन रिवीलिंग दैट देयर विमेन folk stay in पर्दा, a shield that deprives a women of the joys of free nature. तो इनमें से ये बहुत दुख की बात है कि कुछ जो लोग हैं, जो कुछ मेन हैं, वो इसमें गर्व महसूस करते हैं ये बताने में कि उनकी जो वाइफ्स हैं वो पर्दा सिस्टम में रहती हैं, which actually steals the women's right to enjoy the freedom. In fact, it is not only women's right, it is the right of a human being to a human being is born free. So is a lady, so is a lady or a woman. So the answer, the correct or the most close answer to this question is pride, यानी कि गर्व महसूस करना. With this, folks, we are done with the speed test number 306.